Bakhmut, Uman, Dnipro, Sevastopol. Update from Ukraine and Russia. And Prigozhin warned Wagner will leave Bakhmut. And as he said, enough lying to Russian people about Ukraine. This is what we're going to talk about today. Hi, I'm Elena. This is my political channel Enough. Welcome. The difference between my channel and many others that I am from the USSR. I was born in USSR. I have lived and worked in Russia. I taught in several universities, and I'm an economist in the past, former economist. And now I'm a Canadian citizen and Canadian traveler and writer. So I did extensive research about the war in Ukraine since 2014, and even before that from Maidan and so on. So I do possess some unique information when many people who just started to follow what happened in Ukraine in 2022, they don't have it. I do. And what I'm doing on my channel, I'm providing you with information, with facts and proofs, which you can easily verify and listen to my informed opinion and create your own. So today we're going to talk about what happened in the last days, weeks in Ukraine. And we'll start from that horrible attack, Russian attack on Uman. It's a city in Ukraine, kind of far away from the front, about, I don't know, 300 kilometers or so. I may be wrong, could measure it, but it's far away from the front. And this is one of the there was Russian, again, missile attack, and according to Ukrainian government, about 23 missiles were shot and 21 were intercepted. Unfortunately, the ones who get to the targets, intended targets, kill people and made them mass destruction. This is the city of Uman. I will show you a little bit of a footage. This is from TV Rain.
Що таке може бути? Ракета попала в наш дом. Ми всі в крові, я не знаю. Всі стекла вимило.
This lady is saying, she is from that building in city of Uman. She's saying that missile hit our apartment building and our windows broken, we're all in blood. It isn't my intent to make you feel bad. I'm trying not to show too much gory details on my channel. This is not what it is about. This is about knowing the facts, knowing what's happening, what is happening. That is why I believe Russia, for all of their doings, for fighting that starting and fighting that aggressive war and doing this to people in other country and breaking a lot of laws, Russian laws, international laws, should be condemned, and it is condemned by majority of the world, and should be thrown out of United Nations. I have a video about Lavrov talking about, the video called about Lavrov talking in United Nations, like Fox in the Hen House. He shouldn't be there. He is under sanctions, by the way. Russia should be thrown out of United Nations for doing this. That is why I'm showing it to you, so you can form your informed opinion about that. Because some people I run into in foreign countries, good people, they just don't know enough. They don't know about this war enough to make a proper judgment. They are under the impression, and in some ways they're right, that the war is bad. Yes, it is. But Ukraine can do nothing about it. They were attacked. And they are getting attacked by Russia. Russia is the only one who can stop this war. They're not offering anything to Ukraine. There is nothing Ukraine can give to Russians. And we will see it by the end of this video. So this is Sergei Lubivsky, a local man. He's saying that my neighbors are gone. They were here, none of them leave. He is from the same Uman place.
Сусіди були, їх нема нікого живих. На 9-му поверсі жила бабушка, дочка і двоє внуків.
This is Uman, April 28th, Friday. At 4:30 in the morning, when people leave and sleep in their beds, they were attacked. And this is what this man is saying. On the 9th floor lived grandma, daughter, and 2 grandchildren. They all dead.
Немає їх. На 8-му батько з сином жив. Немає їх.
On the 8th floor, lived father and his son. They also dead.
На 7-му мама з дочкою жила. Немає їх.
On the 7th floor, there lived mother and her daughter. They also dead. So look at these people. Look what happened to them. And this is Dnipro city again. The one where another building were destroyed. Now is the factory or plant was attacked, and one private house was destroyed. In that private house, a 31-year-old woman and her young daughter got killed. And this is what left. Destruction and death. This is that woman and this is her daughter. Meanwhile, Russia and Ministry of Defense of Russia saying that the missile get exactly into the target, just in the middle of it, as people who shoot in guns would know, and the target there is like middle of it. So they hit exactly what they wanted, according to Ministry of Defense. So they wanted to kill civilians, they wanted to hit civilian targets, and they proved it again and again. And how do they explain why they're doing it? They just trying to test Ukrainian air defense, because they know there would be counteroffensive of Ukraine soon enough. And these people, all of them died for nothing, just because Putin decided it's a good idea. There is no reason why Russia fighting in Ukraine. There is no reason for them to be there at all. They're not defending anything or anyone. They're killing people. On both sides, by the way. As far as I know, at this point in time, in Uman, 23 people dead. About 18, I heard, were injured. But they still keep taking people out of the rubble and so on. So this video is from the channel of Alexei Goncharenko, and he's saying, look at this. How we can negotiate with them when they're doing this. And he's right. Putin will not stop, no matter what. No matter what Ukraine give to him, he will not stop. The longer this war is going, the longer he is sitting on the throne. As soon as the war stops, by Russia losing this war, and Russia will lose this war, make no mistake, there is no stalemate, none of it. Ukraine is winning this war. Russia have no capability to win it, period. Every day of the war is just prolonging death, destruction, and murder of people on both sides. And the only one who is getting something out of is Putin. Putin and his closest allies, like Prigozhin. Prigozhin is alive still only because he's still necessary, a little bit. We will talk about him in a minute. As to Bakhmut, I won't show you the map. This is just the footage from Bakhmut. Bakhmut still not captured by Russia. Western part still controlled by Ukraine. Most likely Ukraine will leave the city eventually, unless they will be able to stand before the counteroffensive will start. But they grinding Russian army there, and that's why they are there. And another reason why Ukrainian army is still there, not just because Russia losing their weapons or losing their soldiers in mass amount, it's just also because otherwise they will move further and will be able to destroy way more cities and destroy more parts of Ukraine. And yes, in Bakhmut still left a few civilians, which Ukrainians trying to get out of it by foot if they have to. And Popular Politics today showed some footage of that as well, or TV Rain. And this is channel Popular Politics, made by a group of Navalny. And but some people still stay there. It's just amazing. I guess they think they have nothing and nowhere to go, but they creating such a massive problems for the army when they have to risk their life to rescue these people. It doesn't matter do you have place to go or not, you have to leave the cities which under attack. I don't see any other choice, because this way people are kind of creating big problems for the army and making other people risk their life to save them. Ukraine attacked fuel depot in Sevastopol city. It's in Crimea. When I have been in Crimea, I actually visited Sevastopol, and we were in a group of school children, and we were allowed to go there because we were Russian citizens at the time in USSR, about 1980. Foreigners wasn't even allowed to visit Sevastopol because it was a naval base of Russian Black Sea Fleet, and they wasn't even allowed to be there. So some Ukrainian drones attacked military target, fuel depot, which fueling Russian army and fleet, perhaps. This is what happened.
Это Казачья бухта. Там большой склад топлива.
This is Kazachia harbor. Kazakh's harbor, basically. Big storage of fuel. Definitely military target. And Russians claim it like some sort of a horrible thing to do, and demanding revenge for that. Russia attacked Ukraine. I have a whole playlist about war 2014, and now translating part of the videos into Russian, but in English all the videos about Crimea are done. You're welcome to see it in deep details, proving Russian attack and Russian absolutely unprovoked attack and annexation of Crimea. So Crimea is Ukraine, the war is a crime, Putin's crime, and Russia is the aggressor, and Putin is illegitimate leader of one of my countries, Russia. This is another footage of fire in Sevastopol. And some more. So Russia trying to pretend nothing happened. Yes, it did happen. This is what happened. According to Igor Sushko from Twitter, which is, he quite right about many things about the war. I'm watching him sometimes. He is saying that Putin has ordered Bakhmut must be taken by May 8th, in the time for Soviet Victory Day parade on May 9th, and threatened Shoigu and others with dire consequences. I can't believe that, because for Russia, May Day parade and May Day Victory Day, it mean a lot. Many people were raised, not like here we have Remembrance Day in Canada. It's more about the tragedy of the war, which shouldn't be repeated again. In Russia, it's ho ho, we won, we destroyed the Nazi Germany and stuff like that. And Putin really attached to certain dates, so he definitely wants Bakhmut taken by any costs, and no matter how many people gonna die, he doesn't care. And this is a speech of Prigozhin, Putin's chef and PMC Wagner group. I have some videos about him as well. Basically mercenaries controlled by FSB and GRU, Russian military intelligence. And basically they hating each other, according to Sushko, and it's true as well. And now Russia is trying, as I said in some of my videos, trying to make Prigozhin PMC Wagner chef and chief of PMC Wagner. They're trying to steal his know-how, how to fight this war, because Russia doesn't have weapons enough. They doesn't have enough good army or anything. What Prigozhin does and how he achieved these goals is by throwing people by bunches into the fire. Untrained people, criminals who he took from jails, Russian prisons, because he doesn't care about them, nobody care, and he decided to murder them by bunches just to get 1-2 meters of territory. And now Russian army is thinking they can do that too. And they are wrong, as I explained in my previous videos about that, because Prigozhin controlled his criminals by their consequences, by chopping their fingers, by killing them by sledgehammer and so on. And now Russian army decide we can do that too. It doesn't work for them very well. They only managed lately record about 100 of them. This is what Prigozhin has to say.
Сергея Кожугетовича с просьбой выдать незамедлительно боеприпасы. В случае отказа от этой выдачи считаю необходимым довести до Верховного Главнокомандующего информацию о существующей проблеме для принятия решения и о целесообразности дальнейшего нахождения подразделений ЧВК «Вагнер» в населенном пункте Бахмут.
So basically he's saying we're gonna retreat. And a little bit later he's saying that they will retreat in organized manner, not to run like cowardly rats later. So he's thinking that you either give us weapons or we're gonna have to stay and die. Like for what? The Russian citizens, they have nothing to do with Ukraine, and they are not even Russian army, they are mercenaries. So why would they stay there and die? No reason. And now Prigozhin cannot have those cheap nobodies from prisons who nobody care about. He trying to recruit people, but now people know what's happening in PMC Wagner, and they not really want to go there. So Prigozhin running out of soldiers. He doesn't have ammunition either, because with his conflict with the Russian army, they trying to basically put him down a little bit, because he started to allow himself too much, like his troops swearing at Russian general military commander Gerasimov and Shoigu and so on. And Shoigu is the Minister of Defense of Russia. So basically they insulting Russian army, and Russian army doesn't take lightly that some sort of a former criminal who was in jail, abused in jail as far as we heard of, dictating Russian army generals what to do. They're not thinking Prigozhin as his equal, and they will get rid of him probably soon enough. Right now, I have some information I'll show you. This is again Igor Sushko channel. He is referring to Mr. Osechkin, who is Vladimir Osechkin is a creator of Gulagu.net website, people who defending the rights of the prisoners in Russian jails and stuff like that. So according to Osechkin, he's quoting, "We witness in the process of closing down the Wagner PMC, and ending the use of Yevgeny Prigozhin for military purposes. The coming weeks will show a lot. The source reports that dozens of search warrants have already been prepared for Prigozhin's and his associates' residences. There are also information about series of searches of Wagner PMC members, seizures of unregistered weapons, and interrogation about Wagner PMC war crimes." So basically it appears, as he says, Kremlin and Defense Ministry want to maximally distance themselves from Prigozhin's war crimes, and basically blaming the war crimes on Prigozhin, which is a Russian army committing crimes, not just Prigozhin. And Osechkin himself has a very interesting channel. So meanwhile, Russian people murdering Ukrainians and Ukrainians murdering Russians in Ukraine, Russian citizens dying in Ukraine. The director of Russian intelligence, the wife of the director of Russian intelligence, Tatiana Naryshkina, in Paris, there she is, and Svetlana, the wife of Deputy Defense Minister Timur Ivanov, in Courchevel. They shopping, they having fun, and they're not under sanctions apparently. I wonder why is that. So they don't feel the consequences of the war. They are in Paris and Courchevel enjoying their lives. Meanwhile, Russian soldiers sent to Ukraine to die for no reason whatsoever. And this is Mr. Podolyak from the Office of President of Ukraine. He is saying to the Popular Politics channel, he's saying in Russian, so I translate what he's saying basically, that, and he's right, I verified it myself, that Putin is a war criminal. I have 2 videos about kidnapping Ukrainian children, murdering their parents and then moving them to Russia, which is a genocide and a war crime. And I'm showing you the documents why it is so. Basically, Podolyak is right, he's talking about that Putin spit on international law and Russian law. He's saying to the world that your laws mean nothing to me. I can go as low as I can and nothing you're gonna do about this. So he's throwing Russia and the world centuries back. And why Prigozhin and his troops dying in that big bunches also, as far as I find out today, it's because they are fighting World War, even not World War I. They don't have medical attention or medical help in any way. Many of them dying in nowadays, with all the medical equipment people have nowadays, they are dying there because they can't treat the wounds. They dying from infections. They dying because they don't help wounded people. And meanwhile committing war crimes there. And some of those crimes you just saw. Bombing civilians, killing people, and killing Ukrainian army. So Russia started the aggressive war in 2014. And since then, keep killing Ukrainian people, keep killing children who they so wanted to protect. And the Russian-speaking people in Kharkov, I have friends there, and many other places in Mariupol, they were destroyed the first and destroyed the most. Kharkov getting bombed every day. So Putin is a war criminal. He must be stopped. Please help Ukraine. And thank you for watching and have a great day.